Good morning, guys. It is Sunday morning. It is 7:30. Today, just going to take the camera out, see what happens. But I do know one thing, and that is the fact that I'm going to be training arms later on. I'm going to take you through that entire session. But last night, going to bed, do you ever get this surge of anxiety where you just think of all these things that you need to get done for the week, all the work that you need to do, all the tasks that you were asked to do, but you continue to procrastinate doing? Yeah, that was me last night as my head hit the pillow, as I was trying to switch off and fall asleep. I've gotten up a little bit earlier. Abby's still in bed, so I'm going to try to keep my voice down. A couple of things to get through, namely for the relaunch of the Fitness coaching platform, which you have formerly known as simply just an app, but it's going to be that and so much more when it relaunches on the 25th of September. Without further ado, that's what I'm going to be at first thing. Cheers. I may need another one. Whoops. Come on, you fucker. It's not in properly. It's not the first time I've had to say that. See, if I hadn't been biting my nails so much recently, it would come in handy right now. There we go. Not just a pretty face. And the same thing just fucking happened again. Turns out that was the way it was meant to go in.
You are made of stupid.
Second round of the morning. Jesus Christ. It's fucking mad enough that I sneezed on camera, let alone the fact the one sneeze that I do that I happen to get caught on camera, a fucking snot hangs from my nose.
Myself and Abigail behind the camera are on the way to the gym right now. I'm not off monsters, but I'm expanding my horizons a little bit more than usual. Today's energy drink of choice is Alani, whatever. Abby was the one who pointed it out. I don't know much about them. Plus the Prime energy drinks is something I've been drinking an awful lot of lately, but they are €4 pops. There's only so many of those I'm going to have. With respect to nutrition prior to this workout, I haven't eaten anything this morning bar 2 espressos and 1 iced coffee, simply for the fact that I had a massive meal last night, which probably was in the region of 2,000 calories. And so when you have a meal, especially later at night and you're working out the next day in the earlier part of the day, there's not so much of an urgency to have a pre-workout meal or a meal before you head to the gym. So that's what I'm doing today, fueled off of last night's Camille Thai. Gonna get a nasty pump, arm pump specifically, inside in the bodybuilding. We're here in the bodybuilding, hitting up solely just an arm session, and the first exercise that I'll always do for an arm day is going to be triceps, but it's not going to be any tricep exercise, it's a compound exercise for triceps. So usually my selection is either tricep dips or it's going to be a heavy close grip bench press. We're going with the ladder today. I've 145 kilos loaded up onto the bar, hopefully going to get an easy enough 5 reps out of it, and if that goes well, I'll have a crack off 150. I don't know if you saw as I was getting set up for that, my confidence got a bit whacked because I went to unrack it and it's like the bar wiggled out of the palm of my hand, so I had to reset it again. Thankfully it didn't happen during the set. In terms of the weight itself, it was handy, it was manageable. 5 reps was comfortable. I'm gonna have a go off 150 when we get Shane behind the camera, rather than filming me, to save me from potentially dying if it goes wrong. So we'll have a crack off 150 after a few minutes rest. That went reasonably well. I think that's a close grip bench PB, the most that I've ever done, 4 or 5 reps. 1, 4, 5, 5 reps. Right, so we've 150 loaded up on the bar. It's gonna be my third and final set, aiming for 3 repetitions, but we'll see how many we can do. 3, 2, 1. RIP my sternum. Took a little bit too much of a hop off my sternum, your fucking chest bone. We said we're going to get 3 reps of 150. We end up getting 3 reps. That's by far the most that I've ever held for a close grip bench press. Probably not the most sensible thing to do in the world for wrist health, elbow health. Who gives a fuck? A hill that I'm willing to die at, and Optimal TikTok are probably going to demand my head on a plate for this. But every day of the week and twice on a Sunday, I'm going to take a straight bar tricep push down over a rope. Do you ever feel when you're using the rope and the downward pressure on the smallest finger in your hand, and it just starts to slowly but surely disintegrate closer that you get to failure? How is that optimal for anything? What I do like a rope for, I can't find one, anything that's like an overhead extension, it's just a little bit more comfortable. But especially for something like this, I can do more weight, I can feel myself exerting more force, and the contraction for me just feels 10 times better than it would do on a rope. If your arms aren't as big as mine and you want to debunk the fact that I use a straight bar over a rope, then I'm just not going to listen to you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, by the way. Nah. Nah.
Sounded like Sam Sulek there.
Did I? What do they call him? The Bob Ross of bodybuilding. Yeah. It's extremely peaceful and soothing to listen to him. I'm going to do his diet one day. I should just do a shopping list and go, I tried Sam Sulek's diet for the day. So doesn't he do something like outrageous? Hit the like button if you want to see me do Sam Sulek's diet for the day.
And I don't condone it.
To be fair to him, it's notoriously outrageous from what I've heard, but it's probably not any worse than my diet right now. So it'd actually be an improvement to have 2 to 3 dextrose shakes a day along with a bowl of cereal. So that's it. Third and final tricep exercise of this particular arm day, as I said already, is going to be an overhead tricep extension. Now, something that's really crucial to note with this exercise is I'm going to be bending over here, right, which is a vulnerable position in and of itself. But the last thing that I want to do is align this pole smack bang in the middle of my ass crack. It could technically improve stability, which could let's try it out. I actually can feel it working, but aside from that, I'm going to go for the slightly less optimal position of moving just a little bit to the side or this way. It's 10 times more awkward, but at least people won't be questioning what way I swing. Fuck that. I'm just going to have to hope that the fact that I'm going out with an actual real life girl is going to be enough evidence to prove that I am not in fact homosexual. I'm going to give Shane credit for this point because I usually do plagiarize all of his good ideas. In fact, 90% of my content has just been Shane's original idea that I've expanded on. Thanks. If you've ever gotten an in-person PT before, or if you're following a lot of PTs on TikTok, you're going to hear a lot of oftentimes useless cues that PTs just slap onto every single exercise that you do. You can often think that, let's say for example, you need to always arch your back. You need to have a straight spine or a slight arch in your spine. But you'll see with a lot of exercises that I do that I have the opposite. Even with some row exercises where some PTs would consider it to be a cardinal sin for you to have a slight rounding in your back. What I like to make clear to people is that you're not fragile. Hyper-focusing on maintaining like a really strict posture through every exercise that you do is probably going to leave you more likely to get injured than just being kind of a little bit looser with things, understanding that your body is malleable, that you're not this rigid glass object that is capable of breaking at any one point in time. For example, with this, I'm not even thinking about keeping my chest out, my spine bent. Like you'll see that even it's nearly the opposite, where at the bottom my back is rounded, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not aiming to hit my back, I'm not aiming to hit anything like that. So all I need to be concerned with is the movement from my elbow joint. Am I limiting momentum as much as possible? Am I getting a full range of motion? Whatever posture that I maintain in order to complete that movement at my elbow joint is absolutely fine. It's not going to have a bearing on the exercise. If something is comfortable for you, you're able to effectively target the muscle group that you're looking to target within that exercise, well then don't get hyper fixated over all these oftentimes irrelevant cues that a lot of PTs would lead you to believe are more important than they actually are. You'll see towards the end of that set, I was jokingly referring to it with the tricep pushdown and why I prefer to use the bar as opposed to the rope. My fingers here definitely start to become less comfortable the closer that I get to failure with it. And as a result, in order to keep doing the movement, I often need to take my middle finger from the bottom position and spread it out like that, which is probably a less ideal position from the standpoint of exerting as much force as possible. So because of my fingers getting crushed is actually seriously why I do prefer in most cases a straight bar where I can just exert the force throughout the palm of my hand, as opposed to having the base of the force going through my middle finger, which eventually gets a little bit uncomfortable, despite the fact that I'm not yet at failure, that I need to change my grip to something that's probably a little bit less optimal. My last repetitions went like so, as opposed to my earlier repetitions, which looked a little bit more like this. One L that I will concede to the optimal bros is the fact that now when I'm doing barbell curls, it does admittedly start to feel a lot less comfortable on my wrists. I can just about do the cable curl with the straight bar, but really and truly, it is actually me just being completely stubborn if I'm doing an easy bar curl or a barbell curl. You're right, it does fucking hurt my wrists now. The final arm exercise, the second bicep, the fifth arm exercise is going to be a dumbbell hammer curl. Now, I see a lot of people when they're doing curls. Okay, first of all, the reason that I pick a hammer curl is because I like to do one curl variation with my hand facing up, my palm facing up, and one curl variation with a neutral pan, with my thumb facing the ceiling. Biggest thing that I see with a lot of people when it comes to curls is trying to do as much as possible, whether that's like 20 kilo dumbbells, 25 kilo dumbbells, 30 kilo dumbbells, and horsing it like that. But you're probably using a lot of your shoulder. You're certainly using a lot of momentum and swing. You want to isolate the bicep as much as possible so that it's simply just this muscle on the front of your upper arm that's contracting to get the weight up to the top position. So you don't need a whole pile of weight. These are 15s, but that's going to be more than enough for me to effectively hit failure. So long story short, your bicep, although mine, to be fair, is a very small muscle group. So I would question your technique, your execution of a bicep curl if you're using a fuckload of weight to do it. I haven't hit my caffeine threshold for today because I think I've only had somewhere like 400 milligrams, which is a light day for me, especially a light morning. We've 2 Alani drinks here.
I've got 2 drinks and Sean's stealing one.
I have 2 Alani drinks here, and I've so kindly offered to grant Abby one of them. She certainly doesn't own both of them. We have Cherry Blast, Cosmic Stardust. The deal is we're going to open both of them. We're both going to do a taste test, and because, you know, maybe it is actually Abby's Alani drink, she can have preference of which one she prefers, and I'll just take the leftovers. Cosmic Stardust up first. Abigail, do the honors.
I think you're going to really like that one. That tastes like a white monster.
The cherry.
They're both really nice. I think you're going to prefer that one.
It's fucking fire.
It's kind of like a nicer version of a white monster.
But which one do you prefer? I like that too.
Which one do you want?
I know that you want the Cosmic Stardust, so you can take that.
I don't know if I do though.
Make up your mind. Okay. Now, are you taking it? No, put it back. Are you taking this one because you think that that's the one that I want?
Yeah. I'll have this one today and then I'll get that one tomorrow.
Good choice. Cheers. So we have some groundbreaking developments on this ongoing saga of which energy drink will I have versus what Abby has. I tasted the Cosmic Stardust and I preferred Abby's taste of cherry fucking slush. So I'm having the cherry slush. Cherry slush would be a better name. Thank you. Meal number 1, and I resisted the urge, and I'll show you, of ruining my appetite for my breakfast, which I typically do by munching on something completely unnecessary like a protein bar or breakfast cereal or just whatever convenient snacks are available in the cupboard. But I didn't, because hunger is the best sauce, and had I done so, I'd be kind of half full now and I wouldn't enjoy Abby's lovely breakfast as much as I otherwise could. So it's what? 4 eggs with red pesto, 1 slice of cheese, rocket leaves, and a single bagel. Thank you, Abby. And that wraps up today's proceedings. I want to thank you all for tuning into yet another YouTube video. I must say, I did enjoy documenting this. And I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I'm good at YouTube, which is why I do it. It's not something that I particularly enjoy, but today was an exception. I did enjoy today's YouTube video. And if you enjoyed it along with me, please, please, please drop the video a quick like underneath. It really, really helps out the channel and it helps out the algorithm. Don't really care if you subscribe or not because subscribers are too high and I'm trying to bring up that long form viewership. So in order to help me do just that, I would really, really appreciate it if you tuned in immediately to the next video. Take care.